name is Gloria Copeland, and I know we are having one for this tonight, but I have to ask you some questions. My first set of questions is about your leases. I'm confused as to why Fort Lowe is on the agenda to be voted on for sale, lease, or rent when the entrance is that middle school removed it. I am surprised also about Wakefield when there's some discussion about moving Hollinger over there, and Hollinger moved there to begin with. The other question I have about Wakefield is that for the last 2 or 3 years, you guys have leased to Higher Ground, a private independent organization, for $1 a year. But yet this year, you allowed Higher Ground to sublease to La Frontera at $1,000 a month plus utilities. So Higher Ground is now making a profit. Oh yes it is, Dr. Sanchez. Don't shake your head, because I have the documents. And Mrs. Tolson has the documents. So don't shake your head. And now they're renting to La Frontera. And I'll tell you who signed the document. Mr. Sazier, Brian O'Dean, Watkins, Kathy Watson from La Frontera. They're doing $1,000 a month plus utilities, and they are getting the profit. And they plan, when they move to Hollinger, to sublease to other organizations. That is a public building, and that is public money. I am surprised that you're selling Fort Lowe for such a low amount of money, when for the last year or 2 years, you've had a higher amount that has been for Fort Lowe. I cannot find a policy that says what you charge people for leases is kind of fluctuating, it's kind of up in the air. You need to look at that. And I am very concerned about this sublease over at Wakefield. That is public money. You can't do that. The other thing, while I'm standing here, I want to clear up something. Dr. Richardson is here. Mrs. Campoy is here. The plaintiffs do not intend for TUSD to use DSEG money in the future for anything but DSEG issues with USP. And we did not give you that money. We told you that $5 million you could enter as a journal entry. But we expected that this year you would give us a list which we would talk back and forth, and it would represent the USP. So I don't want anybody in this room to think that the plaintiff said, okay, take this $5 million and do what you want with it, because that's not what we said.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, Hidalgo, followed by Dan Ireland and Francis Benalis.
Good evening, my name is Keith, I'm a resident. Your joke, it's a falsehood, because it's based on one thing: propagating racism. Without the desegregation order that's been there for 40 years, that's Papa Doc Grijalva time zone. If you didn't have that money, what would you do? You're raping the taxpayer year after year. You're either deciding to call yourself racist, or you're calling everybody in Tucson a racist, because you haven't solved the problem. How hard is it? It's not that hard. Poor Mr. Sanchez, I don't like looking at your back when you speak from here. Just stay up there. You're not one of us. We don't like the shady way you were hired, no. I've been here for 15 years. I've been dealing with city, county, NTUS, state boards, you name it, for that length of time. As a land surveyor, small business owner, the problem comes down to this: you don't want to admit you have a problem with your money. It's not your money, it's our money. I mean, it's an extra tax on top of an extra tax on top of an extra tax. Since I was young, we can see the decline of public schools. We know what they don't teach anymore, and that's sad. They don't teach any kind of responsibility. They don't teach any real history, or else people wouldn't keep voting the way they do. The simple fact that the Tucson area has elected 84% Democrat representation for the last 73 years proves my point. That's why people like me are escaping Tucson. We're taking our businesses and our employees with us. You want to see a decline in your school children, it's your fault. It's that simple. So, you can get Tucson out from underneath this deseg order and maybe save its soul. Until then, nobody has any right to say a word about it anymore. And this isn't even what I came to speak about. I came here because I watched my 10 o'clock news last night. Watched a hit piece from Channel 4 on Mr. Hicks. Watched Cam talk about integrity when he knows that, wow, the first time we met, he was just,
Thank you, that's your 3 minutes.
yeah, well,
Yeah, I'm gonna give that to 3 minutes. Next speaker is Terry
have a
Higuera.
nice fascist night.
Terry Higuera, and then that's our last card, and we still have some time if anyone else would like to speak.